who are starting or practicing this new line of work where he touches the base of this. Fuck you. Is that my water break? But yeah, every time he touches these spots in the back of my head, there's 6 of them. And the one that kind of hurts is the one that he's going to help unblock. And he did that today. Fuck, it was great. It's my circulatory blockage. I don't know, it's just weird to see you smile all the time sometimes because you're always mean mugging it.
Am I?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Well, when you're being cool.
I'm a changed man.
I know Jesus is in you.
I hope so.
Good.
I hope.
It just makes it, you can't help but to chuckle. You're just yeah, you're right.
I'm trying to be a changed man.
I have friends who say, they're oh yeah, you do that God thing. I'm yep, I do. It makes me happy.
Crazy. So, how are you?
You were already recording me,
yeah,
dick. I could tell why you were smiling. Okay, how am I? I'm great. I feel a lot better after going to the doctor. And I don't know, I just feel good.
How's your week been?
It went by really quickly. I was surprised it wasn't more stressful, just being at work and them trading over into the new building and new systems. I suspected being extremely stressed out, and I feel cool. It's been nice.
All right, that's enough of the prep talk. So we just get to the questions.
Okay.
Can you tell me in general about your childhood?
It was great. I liked living on the farm when I was with my dad, and then being in the burbs when I was with my mom, and then just everybody we were so different than everybody, but still.
What made y'all different?
We were the whitest ones in the Mexican family. Mom liked the white boys, so none of us spoke Spanish, but we all still got along with our family and just still got into just as much trouble. But family was still family. Nobody ever really treated us different. It's blood, so if you ever needed somebody there, they were there for you. But for the most part, I liked keeping to myself or following my siblings around, just because there was nothing else to do, so bothering them was fun. Or I would wander around on the farm by myself and play with animals and sticks and shit. And yeah, definitely not what people would expect how I grew up. People think I was a little cheerleader or something like that. I'm no, I was kind of awkward. I was definitely a weirdo with my hoodies I would always wear those, and I didn't love brushing my hair.
What about your teeth?
Yes, I brushed my fucking teeth. I had braces and all that, and did that. And of course, right after high school, I broke my retainer, so go me. Sorry, Mom, about all that money you put into my teeth, but they're still pretty.
Growing up, what were your dreams as a child?
I wanted to be a vet. And then I looked into that, and they're like, that's really hard, and it's very expensive, so then I shot that down. And then I just focused on the medical field in general, and then pursued a little bit of nursing, but then life had things come up, and I just needed to make money, take care of myself and my kiddo.
Tell me about your relationship with your dad.
I love my dad a lot. Yeah, even though he's not here anymore, he was my favorite parent growing up, and I didn't see him very much from when I was 10 till I was about almost 18, just because he had some stuff going on that, of course, when you're kids, they don't tell you what's going on when they're not allowed to see their parents. Yeah.
How'd your dad make you feel throughout your youth?
The thought of seeing my dad when I didn't see him was my drive to just keep going.
Describe a how so what's a day like where you would wait to see him, or?
Well, when he'd pick us up from school, when it was our weekends with him. And then we'd go, and he never took the highway. I never ever remember being on the highway. He would drive the long way on the back roads to drive back to Fort Lupton, which is like an hour drive, pretty much. And I'd always remember riding in like one of his Blazers in the back seat before they even had, like, it was across the lap. We didn't have booster seats, anything like that.
How'd you feel when you were in the back seat with the Blazer on?
Awesome, because he'd be going pretty fast, so every time we'd go over the hills and shit, you get the butterflies, and you're like, yeah. And then he would be pointing out different things, like different wildlife, like what kind of bird is that, or do you recognize that hawk? And then it would be the same roads we'd go on when he would go catch hawks, because he was a falconer. And so that was really fun and interesting how he did that. They were actually probably the coolest memories were being with my dad. Like, they were good memories with my mom, but very generic. You don't just grow up on a farm and not see some shit. It's cool.
Tell me about your relationship with your mom and how she made you feel.
I didn't see my mom very much, but I felt like, I don't know, I felt there's always tension, but she was working most of the time. I didn't see her until after work in school. I don't know. She just had 5 kids to take care of, and John and Josh were fucking pains in the asses. Sarah wasn't great, so she kind of took it out on everybody. Or, I don't blame her. She's crazy to have all those kids. I tried to do it.
How would she take it out?
Well, I don't know. We got our asses beat plenty of times. Her room is at the top of the stairs, and all our rooms are right past hers. So if she was standing at the top of the stairs and you were in trouble, yeah, you pretty much ran around that corner trying not to get your ass beat or something thrown at you, a chancla. Or whatever she fucking find. But my mom was little, so she definitely had some spunk. I wasn't so bad. I probably started getting more into trouble probably around 16, sneaking out. But for the most part, if me or Jared got in trouble, it was probably from hanging out with her friends or older siblings and just getting into whatever trouble they were getting into. Breaking a house. Or stealing. I stole pickles and candy because I was the weirdo, and it's still cool shit like from Claire's or Kohl's. But
do you still steal?
No, stealing's bad. After I got caught once trying to steal a soda, I think I was probably like 8. I never did it again.
How would you say your mom made you feel? What are the general emotions you connect between you and your mom?
Now? Like now?
Then and now.
I didn't really feel a connection with my mom unless I was sick and she was taking care of me and I wanted to just be with my mom and not at school. Now I feel like I can understand why she was so absent now that I'm older.
How?
Because I have I could see certain stresses that she wouldn't be able to take. I have been able to be with my kid more than she has. Any of her kids. My brothers look at it like this, or my brother John said, Mom's a hoarder with her dogs and her kids and her stuff, and it's just, she doesn't know how to put like that actual care into anything like that. But we all still love her. She doesn't do it on purpose. She has a lot of love for us, but...
Do you say she was absent physically because she was at work, or when she got home she was also absent emotionally?
Yeah, she drank. She'd go, well, we'd hang out with like the neighbor kids, and then she and the other moms would hang out. And then she'd have her little wine parties. She definitely had some times where she needed help to get home. So yeah.
How did those things make you feel as a kid? Like, picture yourself going through it. How did you feel?
I actually have this image of one time I saw her on the couch after Toby brought her home. That's the neighbor's son. I don't even know what the emotion was. Like, there wasn't anger, there wasn't sadness, there was just nothing. I saw it, and I think it's because I was too young to even understand it.
Right.
And I wasn't even that young. I probably would say I was like 10 or so. Now I do. Now I can see these old memories in my head, and I can imagine emotion for it. So I feel for her, sympathy, but I love her a lot, and I see different qualities that I got from her. Her kindness and her giving. She likes to do things for people, and I think sometimes she'll forget about priorities, and she'll always bounce back and forth. So I don't know, I love my mom more. I just feel like, I don't know how she did it, but she did it. None of us died. We're all alive. We all have jobs and doing pretty good for ourselves. So
What would you say are the things you learned from your parents?
Well, I guess I learned how, I don't know, just to be a person at my dad's and just kind of be free, and just like a kid. And I don't know. I've learned most of the things I think benefited me from my grandparents when I was with them for a couple years. And I tell my grandma, I'm like, even though I freaking fought her tooth and nail, I learned a lot of great things, like how to clean a house properly and take care of myself and cook and clean, all that stuff. And bake. I didn't learn that from my mom. I learned how to do everything from scratch and things from my grandma. But she grew up in a family of 12 back in the day. So that I am very, very grateful for. And they grew up in good homes where they had a family, compared to my mom, where she grew up in a fucked up family. Like, Grandpa Joe was terrible. From what I've been told, like, they all saw him kill somebody in front of my grandma and things like that. Very traumatic. Now I understand why certain people are the way they are, but I don't have to understand it completely but to understand.
So what possibly maybe the main thing you learned from them was learning understanding?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Learning how to understand nobody's perfect. Like, I don't know how to even put that, but how you said it, yeah, that makes sense to me. How to put myself in somebody else's shoes and understand how they feel if you were in that situation.
What about as a child growing up? There's no lessons that stick with you from your parents?
No.
Could you tell me about your first love and the emotions that you felt with it?
I want to say, yeah, Jude's father was technically my first love. I used to have lots of crushes and always wanted a boyfriend. But every time I got a boyfriend, I would literally dump them after a couple of days out of fear. I don't know what it was. I'm just like, I can't date you anymore. I'm sorry. It was so sad. But Chris, I don't know. He was the first guy. He was an older guy. He was like my brother's age. And I don't know, he wasn't afraid of my brothers to try to like flirt with me a little bit. That was cool. And I liked how he went out of his way to still want to hang out with me and be around me. And
how much older was he?
Oh, it's Chris. He's like 4 years older than me. So I was like 17 and he was 21. Mm-hmm.
How did it feel when you were going through that?
I was excited. I felt a little giddy or whatever you'd say. Maybe
butterflies in your stomach?
I guess. Now it's hard to think about it because I don't feel that way about him anymore.
Yeah.
But I remember the certain things that I probably would still like to this day, just not with him. But yeah, taking pictures with them and doing all those little. After, yeah, of course, he's the first person I lost my virginity to. Well, you can only lose it once. There you go. First person I had sex with, and I think that also made me like him more. Other than that, things just didn't work out. So, yeah, it's really hard to describe love in that
How
case.
did it feel though? Like you said, giddy, excited,
safe too. Made you feel safe, and cared for, and just loved. Feeling loved, and just somebody you didn't have a problem talking to all the time, or you wanted to hang out with all the time.
What was his name?
Christopher. Well, Chris Johnson. I kept it because I already changed my name on the Social Security card, and then even after the divorce, it was just so much easier to be Jude Johnson's mom instead of Crystal Noland. And they're like, Noland? And I'm like, yes, Noland. It's really annoying to say. I love the name and what it means, but it was annoying to say, and I didn't like how it looked in cursive.
Could you tell me about your first loss or heartbreak? It can be in any terms, and how that felt.
When my dad died, it was the worst thing that had ever happened to me. I want to say
How old were you?
I was 18. It was a month before Jude was born, and it was when me and Chris were still married. Actually, we weren't married, we were just living together. But he was on a work trip, and in order to save money but still have me go on a trip with him, I booked another flight that had connecting flights both ways. So when he was at work all day, I was hanging out with my dad, who was on the run, and he was in Orlando with us. So I spent the whole time hanging out with him and doing all these things, going out to eat or walking around, hanging out at the pool, watching him get sunburnt, going on our first helicopter ride together. That was a lot of fun. And then after he left, he told me he was going to Mexico. He told everybody else Canada for some reason. I don't remember why. But after he'd gone, I just expected to see him again, just like any other day. I was just pregnant and hot and tired. Like, all right, Dad, I love you. And then I was at the airport. I think Chris was already on a plane. And I was at the airport on my waiting to connect to the next flight, when I had gotten a call from my Uncle Mark, who's pretty much, he's not blood, but he's pretty much my uncle, since I was a little baby. It's my dad's best friend. And he had called and said how Dad had been pulled over going to Mexico just because bungee cords are covering up parts of his plates. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't bad or anything, but he wasn't going back to jail or wherever he went there for. And so when he killed himself. He shot himself in the heart.
Why he was getting pulled over?
Well, yeah, he was already pulled over, and probably just gave him his information while he's probably running his information. Dad probably just did it right there. I don't know. My dad was just a fucking badass. That's how he was. And so I had people all around me at the airport just making sure I was calm, because I could not stop crying. And I was 8 months pregnant. They were just like, well, this chick's gonna probably go into labor. I didn't. I did make it back home. I graduated. And then from walking on the stage, I got on a plane to go to Indiana to go to his funeral. So that was the worst and biggest heartbreak I had ever had. It still hurts to this day. When I talk about my heartbreak with Kiri, it still hurts, but it doesn't hurt like how there's more anger towards another person compared to, it's just sadness with my dad. because he's fucking awesome, and he'd be a great grandfather to my son, and even my family knows it.
How did it feel when you were in the airport and you got the news?
I'm surprised I didn't pass out like they do in the movies. It felt like my heart just literally was crushed. You know, when it's like in your throat, something like that feeling. So.
Who first taught you love, and how do they teach it to you?
That's hard because a lot of people have taught me different feelings of love.
Or even acts of love?
There's so many. That's what I'm grateful for. I can't really put it. I guess you could say, of course, my parents, and then just them loving and taking care of you while you're sick, or wanting you to smile and be happy. And then my grandparents, the love of them taking on 2 kids for the benefit of the kids is another way I see it. Even Chris, back in the day when I first met somebody that I wanted to be with, and then after I'd met Kiri years later, that was really my first love, just seeing somebody wanting to see me smile and do fun things together, and I don't know, unconditional things together to make each other happy. And then of course Jude, that thing, he's amazing. Just seeing him laugh and smile and just so happy to do, when he says, "I love you, Mom," or "Thank you, Mom," that just, his voice lights up my heart. And it reminds me of how happy I was when I was a kid, and how I felt doing the things he did. It was just, those feelings aren't as intense now that I'm older, but I remember what that felt like as a kid, so I'm happy he gets to feel that way.
What's love to you? And has it always been the same, or has it changed? If not, what was it compared to what it was as a kid and to how it is now?
Well, when I grew up, I didn't know what love was, of course, but I had the idea, just because growing up Christian, you're taught you're going to meet a man, you're going to get married, you're going to have babies, oh, yay, everything's going to be great. And then none of that happened in the same order. Like, I had a baby, I went to college, I got married. It all was backwards. So I thought love was just pretty much, I didn't know what it was. Now I know that feeling of where you feel secure, you feel safe, but you also feel that need to protect them just as much as you want them to feel the need to protect you, that kind of feeling. So I've definitely understood it a lot more making more friends, or really hot, good and quality friends, but mostly my son. That's what's taught me, like, he comes first. You would lay your life down for them.
How does that feel, feeling that love from your son?
It's awesome. It makes me feel like I'm doing something right. Even when those days you don't feel like anything's right, or you just don't know. That limbo thought. Are you just existing, or are you living those things? And then I see him, I'm like, nope, you're living. That's life right there.
Tell me about a good day.
I really love the days where it's super hot and everybody, like the family, cousins, Jude, and friends at the pool or at a barbecue, or both, and just being in the sun all day, enjoying music, maybe a couple drinks, and just everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
Not very many people. It'd be great if Wi-Fi and everything was gone and everybody was just off their phones. That's really nice when a day goes by like that. Actually, day on the beach, Callie was fucking amazing, taking Jude to the beach for the first time as he was older, because he was nervous to go in the ocean, but he went in and he loved it. So being out on the beach all day and hanging out with my kiddo and then walking around adventuring is pretty much like some of my favorite things to do.
Tell me about a bad day and how you push through it. Be specific.
Well, when I didn't have my car for a little bit, that fucking sucked. But I learned that it's expensive. So I did do that for a while. But yeah, I just learned to do something different and started taking public transit, doing the buses and the light rails, and that was fun. I even started taking Jude on little adventures because that would be an adventure. Going on to the light rails like takes you an hour to get somewhere, and they think this is they're just doing something, and it's awesome. You don't have to go spend a shit ton of money, which is annoying these days because I still do spend a lot of money on him to make sure he's happy, but I know he doesn't need it. Like just doing something like that, simple enough. Doing that, taking him downtown to the fountains, you go run around, then go spend $10 on overpriced ice cream. And yeah, things like that. It's really the simplest things, the simplest days. But that was off subject because my ADHD did it, and now I'm getting back onto it. Bad day. That's a bad day. My car doesn't work, and then I changed it around to being a good thing. I learned something new, do something different. I think. Next question.
What are 2 things or events or people that have shaped you, good or bad? And how do you feel when you reflect on those things or people?
Oh, when I was with that whole thing with the affair and Carrie and that Riley girl, that shaped me in a way I did not like. But it made me, I like it now a little bit better.
Could you go into a little detail? I know the context, but...
I'm not very nice as I used to be, which sometimes I was overly nice and trusting and just expected.
So Carrie is one of your ex-boyfriends.
Uh-huh.
An ex-boyfriend.
Pretty much the one.
The one is
Yeah.
the girl you're talking about?
The now baby mama.
So to give us some context on what you're talking about, so that we know. You were in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
It went south as soon as somebody came in, and from what my understanding, she was the little sister of one of my best friends.
Okay.
And from her sister's point of view, and from what the girl seemed like, she was a big fan of mine, not like anything famous, but she looked up to me because I modeled or things like that. Things like that, I am assuming. And so I found it very surprising that she was the girl, or was a girl at all, to just go behind my back and say terrible things to him when they met randomly. And me and Carrie were dealing with some hard times, and I felt like betrayed that this girl who didn't know me decided that she wanted to tell him things to further trouble our relationship and make her and him or herself feel better from my perspective. And his attention towards her and causing more fights between me and him, I could see how it easily pushed them closer together. So that really changed me, because I never thought somebody would do, like a girl would do that to me, or somebody I didn't know, and I didn't think he would ever do that to me either.
So how did it feel?
Felt like shit. Still hurts, still pisses me off, but that's a total different hurt from how my dad made me feel. Like this hurts more because it's anger. It makes me angry. Because to this day, like, you know how our relationship is. I still see him almost every day. I feel really bad for him because he's literally controlled by a very young girl who has some mad problems in her head, at least I think. To the point where I did like file a police report and have everything saved just in case like this girl does something drastic because she's already done it. And I know what it's like to be angry and have temper tantrums. But you eventually grow up. And I don't think I see that with her and him. But there's nothing I could do about it except live and still love.
How did the betrayal initially make you feel?
Oh my God. When I first got that phone call from her, or like it was a text message from a number I didn't know, saying, hey, are you still like with Kiri or something? And I was like, yeah, of course I'm still with Kiri. We live together and we just made love last night. I don't know, who is this? And she gave me a smart alecky response. I don't remember everything word by word, but it was pretty much like, oh, haha, like, I just wanted to see if he was lying because how did he make love to you last night when he's been fucking me for the last 3 months? I was fucking mad.
What do you want to do?
I wanted to take her teeth and implant them into the back of her throat. That's what I wanted to do. And I still, to this day, kind of still want to do that. I have that violence in me, and I don't like that unless it's to help or defend somebody. But that's the only fucking person that comes to mind, and I'm like, I will fuck her up. But if I saw her out in public and just chilling, I would honestly just do my own thing. I really wouldn't want to acknowledge her because she's brought out a monster in me. I'd never feel that way towards anybody ever. If somebody annoys me, I just ignore them. But I believe that she went out of her way to almost ruin or try to ruin my life. Yeah. She ruined something, but my life is still going. And her life isn't going the way she wanted it. So I don't think anybody won when this all happened. I don't see anybody winning.
So you felt pretty much livid initially. So now looking where you're at now, how does it feel now?
It's annoying. And like, it's really annoying to love that man, but it's hard not to. Just, we have so much past, so much history, so much where I grew, and he helped teach me a lot of things, and I appreciate that. I learned to love myself more too.
What has inspired you and why?
I guess having my kiddo and just being a good parent in his eyes is what's inspired me. I just don't know what, just to do good, be a good person. If I make a lot of money, that'd be really awesome. And if I just get by through life, and that's awesome too.
What has been a humbling experience for you?
That bitch coming into my life, it humbled me the fuck out, dude. I had a big ass house, a big ass closet, whatever I wanted to wear, eat whatever I want, do whatever I want, sex whatever I want. Even when I didn't want it, I'm like, I'm tired. Like, that's annoying, not having all the time when I want it anymore. And yeah, like, realizing all that stuff meant nothing because all I wanted was him. And I just know that probably won't happen anymore, and just knowing that I have to love him a different way, and maybe someday somebody else in my life will come around. But that made me really realize you can lose something so quickly and appreciate the things that you lost a lot more, but they're already gone. You know? Fun.
If you can go in your mind and think, this life event can be mental, physical, or spiritual. Tell me about a time in your life that you can relate with the word war.
Hashtag that bitch. That was it. Pretty much, me and her were battling. We still, to this day, kind of battle. Not as much in the way she has. I eventually just filed the police report for harassment, but it had been a battle where we'd post things on social media where we knew what it was about, but nobody else probably knew what it was about. But it caused fights between her and I, between him and I, her and him, everything, because, yeah, how couldn't it? It's a triangle, love triangle. Like, she probably has a love for him or loves him. You did fuck him and have a couple kids, but I had love for him too, and it never really ever left. and it was forced to be this way. Even he's said it, I'd admit to it, but it could be just a lie he says to himself, that I just don't like this fucking war. And it's like the game Risk. I used to play it with my little brother. It's so boring. But I would be playing and I'd be winning and I'd be annihilating him, and I'd get so bored of it I would just quit because it wasn't fucking worth it. What are you winning? Nothing. So that is definitely where I've seen war, and that's honestly probably the only time I ever felt at war with anybody for years. This is years. It's been about 4 years almost now. And I'm trying to get out of it slowly but surely, because trying to just jump ship just doesn't work. It causes more problems and hurts more people, and that's not something I'm fond of. So what do you think?
So next, the same thing, go in your mind and think this life event can be mental, physical, or spiritual, but that you can relate to the word peace.
When I'm listening to Christian music or singing along or going to church sometimes church doesn't always make me feel this way. Depends. But that makes me feel at peace when I know I don't have a plan. He has a plan. I'm just going with it.
Tell me about a truly difficult time in your life and how you overcame it.
There's a few. Next. I don't want to talk about that one.
You have a few. Pick one.
Well, I don't know. I guess when I was separating from my husband and trying to do everything on my own, get a place, a job, and make enough money to survive, I don't know how I overcame it. I just did it. You just keep going. You just don't give up. I don't know how to say it. Just keep being a good person, keep working hard, have good ethics.
Did you go through that period of trial?
I want to say about 2 years, and then I met Carrie. And then we were supposed to work together, but we just hit it off too quickly. Working together didn't work. We just fell in love. And then I wanted to do what I wanted to do on the side, so I didn't feel like I was just taken care of, but he wanted me to work more on myself, which was nice. So he pushed me into working with the coach for my acting and singing and dancing, because he saw something in me I didn't see. I guess that's how I got through it, was finally meeting somebody who showed me there's more to me than I see. And it's got me here today. I've met a lot of amazing people, had a lot of fucking fun, and I think I've done a lot of good things along the way, so it's good so far.
During those 2 years after the divorce, what were your feelings during that time of being by yourself and figuring it out?
Well, I was mad at him, so after I'd lost that initial feeling for him, it really didn't come back. So yeah, I was kind of on board to meet somebody else, but for the most part I didn't really feel lonely. I had a lot of friends that I still hung out with and got closer with. It was hard because Chris was an asshole, and I probably was a bitch too, but he was not nice at all during all of this, because he didn't want me to leave at first, but I think after he became so angry, he fucking just hated me. And then everything got better after he met Kara, and I only heard about her for a couple times. And there were always good things from Jude, so I didn't have any concerns. Everybody thought I wouldn't like her just because, like, I was his ex. But for the most part, she's the only reason me and him get along now. Because me and her got along, we actually communicated. It wasn't just everything based off emotion. It was facts, times, dates, being fucking reasonable. So that was nice. I was like, appreciate you, Kara. Sometimes we can get on each other's nerves, but I think too much of anything that people don't like can do that. But she's awesome. I like her. She's good to my kids. She's a good stay-at-home mom. Makes my life a little bit easier, his life easier. And you know what? I can't help but to appreciate that lady. So there you go.
Tell me about a truly joyous moment in your life.
There's so many of those, but like to this day, you never forget holding your kid for the first time. He was such a little peanut. He's like so small. I cried though when they tried to hand him to me in the very beginning. I couldn't. I was shaking so much. I was afraid I would drop him because like just all that adrenaline. I was literally shaking so hard. I was like, I don't want to hold him. I'm gonna drop him. So that was fun. That was great. I'm like, yay! He's out. That's joy. And then just being able to hug and kiss all up on your little baby. You never forget that.
What keeps you up at night?
Well, what my chiropractor says. To be honest, well, of course, all those chemical things are going through my head, but I don't know. I guess, trying not to overthink anything or assume anything, just trying to see whatever forms in my head. That's what I'm thinking about, because I don't want to assume what I want because of all the disappointments I've had before. I'm like, do I want to meet somebody else? Or do I really want to have more kids? Or do I just want to jump ship and travel the world and see Jude all the time when I can't? I don't even know. Do I want a certain career? Do I want to push harder for certain things? Or do I just want to maintain those things? That's what
sounds like stress keeps you up at night.
There you go.
Anxiety.
I need this chiropractor. He's great, man. Thank you, Marco. Like, if you're asking.
Why do you think those things keep
Fuck
you
you,
up
Jose. Why? Why? Because they're stressful.
Yeah.
That's keep anybody up at night. Just wondering rather than just living. We all have social media too. That doesn't help. It gives you things to think about or to visualize yourself wanting, even though it's not really real.
What keeps you going every day?
Coffee. No, I'm kidding. Well, other than the normal, I want to take care of my kid. What keeps me going? I'm guessing I'm waiting for that big shebang moment. Like, that's what I'm meant to be here for. I have no idea what it would be though.
Can you realize what you're meant to be here for?
Yeah, I think so. That purpose, or at least maybe getting close to understanding what that is to me. I don't think I'm there yet.
Imagine you're in the hospital with only hours to live. What would be your regrets?
Whenever I got angry or short with my kid. Pretty much that. Not being patient enough. Maybe not finishing school. But not really. Other regrets.
So you're obviously not on the deathbed. Do you feel that you can change any of those regrets that you would have had?
Of course.
What are your dreams now?
I don't know. Sometimes I think I want to work more on my art, but then I don't think my art's cool. Then I don't care, because I'm like, this is my art and I keep it for myself. So I've been trying to do that a lot more. My painting, my collages, of course a little writing, singing. Even if I'm not great at it, I still love it. So maybe that's somewhere for me. Or it serves a purpose somewhere. Because if not, it would have been lost, don't you think? Maybe.
You're the author of your own life, but how do you want the last chapters to end? And how would you feel if and when it ends that way?
Shit, man. Then if we're gonna describe my dream ending, let's do. Okay, I'm gonna be at a nice house on the beach.
Okay.
Lots of big windows. It's really bright. I like bright house. Like, it just keeps you awake and alive. I don't like dark and gloomy. Of course, Jude, he's doing great. He's probably gonna have kids of his own. Successful doing whatever he wants, whether it's like marine biologist or who knows, maybe doctor, or he's gonna be some BMX pro star, who knows. And then I don't know, I always kind of wanted another, like a little girl, so maybe a little girl who's in college or something. Jude's younger sister that he just loves and protects so much. And then I don't know, maybe my husband, or just me and him retired, being able to enjoy long walks on the beach, eating whatever the fuck we want, whenever we want, and kind of just not having to stress about that. And then, I don't know, dream, have enough money to just donate to freaking nonprofits or save the rainforest. Who does not want to help do that, or help against trafficking, or like things that, like, if you had money to help with, wouldn't you do it? But I am here.
So think of yourself waking up on the house on the beach with your husband, with your older daughter, your son doing well and pursuing his dreams, and you wake up and you reflect on your life and you see how you're at that point. How would that feel for you?
So nice. It'd be great. You just walk around smiling all day, like, right? And you're gonna just take a shower. You're like, you know what? I think I'll air dry today. So, there.
Yeah. That's it.
Boom. Bat. Suck it. No, I should stop. Give me my water.
Oh man, that was good. That was a good one.
Good.